Come on, son.
Raphael on the track.
Come on, son. Come on, son. Come on, son. Well, hello there, everyone. Once again, on a Monday, it's time for Come On Son, the podcast. Y'all know me, still the same OG, but I've been playing low-key, hated on. No, I'm only playing. It is time for Come On Son, the motherfucking podcast. This is what I do every week. This is my way of venting, my way of getting shit off my chest, my way of saying things that I've always wanted to say, my way of interviewing people that I don't normally get a chance to interview, my way of just chilling is brought to you by CigarsInternational.com. If you're a cigar smoker, go to CigarsInternational.com. Type in Ed10 off when you check out and you get 10% off your stuff. I don't know how y'all grew up, but I'm going to tell you how I grew up. I grew up with a mother named Viola, a father named James. I am James Jr. The Ed comes from my middle name, which is Edwin. And my parents, when they raised me, were on a tight budget. I'm not going to lie. My mom told me one time that their mortgage was $200 a month. And some months with 4 kids and all the rest of the household bills, they didn't even know how they was going to make those payments. So for them having any kind of coupon, it wasn't any internet in those days. So there was no promo codes. There was just coupons that you clipped out of the newspaper. And I can remember as a kid many times going up to the supermarket or grocery store. The grocery store to us was a corner store, the store around the corner. Some people call it bodegas. Some people call it different things. But the supermarket was where we went to. It was A&P supermarket. It was Associated supermarket. It was supermarkets like that. What was the other one? I just can't remember because I haven't lived there. Oh, Pathmark. Pathmark came in and became really big. Now, I know where you live at. There's different supermarkets. Like, I had never heard of Kroger or Publix till I moved to Atlanta. I had never heard of Mariano's. I heard of Whole Foods, but not Mariano's, not Joel, Osco. Never heard of that before I came to Chicago. So Piggly Wiggly and stuff like that. And Winn-Dixie was in the South when I went to visit my grandfather when I was growing up. There's a lot of those that I've never heard of. So I'm quite sure that wherever you're from and wherever you live at, if you want to leave some comments, please tell me what were the supermarkets when you were growing up. The grocery store was where we went around the corner to the store, just pick up little odds and ends like toilet paper. Give me one roll of toilet paper. You didn't go to the supermarket for that. You went to the grocery store and got it. Well, anyway, my point is that the supermarkets had the coupons, and that's how my mom used to save money by clipping coupons. She would clip coupons for a little bit of everything. If there was stuff that we normally didn't use, like different brands that we didn't use, and it had a coupon to it, my mother would probably buy that brand because it was cheaper than what brand we normally use. We weren't really brand conscious in those days because you got 4 kids, you got a car note, you got a mortgage, and you got bills, and kids eat, and the lights and all of that other stuff that goes along with it, the gas bill, your water bill. It's a lot of bills. It's just one bill after another bill after another bill. So my parents worked, and they clipped coupons. You got 4 kids to feed, and we're all stepping stones. Like, my oldest brother's only 5 years older than me, and my sister's only 2 years younger than me, and my brother Thomas is only 3 years older than me and 2 years younger than my brother. So you see, my mother had 4 on the floor pretty much all at the same time growing up together. There's no real big gaps between us. There's no 10-year gap between any of us. Not like my wife. My wife is 11 years younger than her sister. There's no gaps. Like, my mother scrolls out her kids. My mother had 4 kids at the age of 25. At the age of 25, my mother had 4 kids. And I can never, ever remember not one time in my life my mom saying, hey, y'all stay home, I'm going to the club tonight. If my mom went out, she went out for drinks with her girlfriends after work every now and then, basically went out with my dad any other time, or they had company over the house and they had their little shindigs, when they play their music and play cards and play spades and play bid whist and in all of those games, and we were always sent upstairs with our cousins, or if one of my uncles came over and brought his family. You know, you weren't allowed to sit downstairs and be in grown folks' face and grown folks' business. That's how I remember my mother going out. So think about being 25 with 4 kids and a husband and a house and a mortgage, and you're only making a certain amount of money. I am, without the shadow of a doubt, the one person in my entire family, probably on my mother's side, that has made the most money, the most famous, and the one who's made more money out of anybody on my mother's side. Now, my father's side, my cousin Marvin used to play professional basketball in the NBA and the ABA, so he's made more money than me. But that's on my dad's side. On my mother's side, which is the larger side of the family, I am absolutely the highest earner ever throughout any of the generations. So my parents didn't have a lot of money like that. They weren't making 60, 70K working for the telephone company. I don't even know if they cleared 30,000. That's something I would have to ask my mom. And my mom is actually coming to visit me in Chicago this weekend. I would have to ask my mom what's the most that she's ever grossed in a year when she was working for the phone company. But the point is, at times it was a struggle. And at times, they needed those coupons to help get by. Now you have an opportunity to use a promo code. And I know a lot of you may think, 10% off, that ain't a lot. I'd deal with it if it was 25, 30. Listen, I'm giving y'all what I could give y'all right now, okay? And I'm giving you 10% off just for using the promo code ED10OFF. That's it. That's what you get. That's what you get. That's what they told me. And that's what I'm giving y'all. All right? Don't act like that. Okay? If you're a cigar smoker, or you know somebody that enjoys a good cigar, or there's an occasion coming up where there's a wedding and you want to have some cigars to smoke with the groomsmen, cigarinternational.com. If you want to buy the groom a nice box of cigars, that's the place to go get them. Cigarinternational.com. Cigarsinternational.com, right? Use my promo code ED10 off. And ain't cheating. It's just getting the deal. That's all it is. And today, that's what I want to talk about, cheating. And not cheating in the sense of a man cheating on a woman or a woman cheating on a man, because believe me, it goes both ways. Okay, that's not what I want to discuss today. I want to talk about cheating your way through life and how in 2018, and this has been going on for quite some time, I feel like cheating is winning more than hard work and perseverance. Not in sports. Not in sports. I wouldn't say that, and I wouldn't even say that as far as business is concerned, but I will say, I would say that in certain aspects of business, but not so much in sports, because I feel like when people cheat in sports and they get caught, they suffer the consequences more so than in everyday life and in the world of social media, which is a huge world right now. It's no denying it. There's no denying that social media has hiring influencers, people that you don't know are hawking products to you because you follow them and they have a big following. People are buying likes. People are buying followers to boost their profile on social media. That's cheating, and they're getting over. Sometimes you have to look at how many followers that they actually have compared to how many likes they're getting on, whether it's their comedy videos or whether it's, a picture that they posted. Look at the difference and you will see, because we're so easily influenced by this. Like if we see that somebody has 150,000 likes, we feel like we're missing something, like, oh, I should like this too. Or if they have a lot of comments, we feel like, oh, I should be commenting on this also. You can buy followers. You can buy likes. This is proven. I prefer to do it the organic way. The followers that I have on social media are actually followers of Ed Lover, and probably most of them came from Come On Son, but I never went out and bought followers. You saw that time on Twitter, they were like those bots of people that had all these people was losing millions of followers because they weren't even real people. it wasn't real people. It was just bots and fake accounts and all of this stuff. That's cheating. And it seems to me that the cheating is winning because these are the people that are getting parts in movies, can't act for shit, but they're getting parts in movies. They're doing these comedy tours, ain't got but 7 minutes worth of comedy, and half of that ain't funny. And they're winning. And the people that are working hard, the people that are studying the craft, do you know that there is a school of improv here in Chicago, Second City? You could go and learn improv. There's a lot of great comedians that came out of Second City here in Chicago. You can learn comedy in the ins and outs and study comedy in New York at several different places. You could study acting. I go to Chicago School of Acting here. I know people that have been studying drama and acting for years. Why should they be losing jobs to somebody because somebody got more followers than them or somebody bought their followers? Now, there are organic. I did that again. I did that at Illinois Media School the other night. I was speaking. I said organic instead of organic. It seems unfair to me that when somebody has built an organic following, that someone else would get ahead of them cheating. But I guess people are cheating now because they have seen other people cheat, win, and get a slap on the wrist. Just a slap. The New England Patriots deflating footballs, that's cheating. Having other people's signals and defensive plays, having somebody record somebody else's practices, that's cheating. All they get is a slap on the wrist. So all that matters is the championships. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that they're cheating. And all of this stuff that people are doing is cheating. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of plastic surgery going on, right? And Kim Kardashian posted a picture of herself in a vintage Chanel bikini. But it was a very racy picture. The top was barely covering her nipples. The bottom was covering her vagina. But she had her legs open, which I thought was distasteful for many reasons. One reason being that you're a mom and you have children, and this kind of stuff lives on social media forever. And what kind of message are you sending out to your kids? But it got lots of hits. It was a topic of conversation, and people were split and divided down the middle. Amy Schumer tweeted out and wrote a comment, "Oh my God, your body, all of this beautiful," but that's not her natural body. She cheated. So is that the society that we living in? Like, am I just ass backwards, man, that I don't think that that's the shit because somebody cheated to get the body that they got, that you paid for it, that you went out? I mean, I had a nose job, y'all. One of my biggest regrets in my life. The doctor didn't do it right. I went to some doctor in California who I probably shouldn't have went to, and I still have to get one side of my nose corrected because he fucked it up. And I shouldn't have never did it because my nose was fine. But I was being vain at the time, and I thought my nose was too big. I thought it was spread too far. I saw the nose that it wasn't even Michael Jackson, to tell you the truth. It was Patti LaBelle, because my nose was spread out like Patti LaBelle's at the time. And Patti LaBelle had gotten her nose job, and it was beautiful, and I liked the way it looked on her face. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get my nose done. You know, and I did, and I regret it to this day. I'm not talking about somebody that got crooked teeth, that gets their teeth straightened out, or just porcelain veneer. I'm talking about when your entire body is fake. Your ass is fake. Your breasts are fake. Your stomach is fake. Or your pectoral muscles, if you're a guy, is fake. Or you're losing your hairline and you go spend $10,000 to get your hairline stitched on. Just in general fakeness. I'm not talking about those people out there that just, maybe you had a bad car accident and you broke your nose and you got to have your nose fixed. That wasn't me. Mine was done out of vanity. Okay, maybe you had a deviated septum and you got your nose fixed. That's out of necessity. Maybe you were in a car accident and you got your teeth fixed. Or you were just, your parents just didn't have enough money to send you to the dentist when you were a kid. And so finally, when you get your job and you get right and you get your benefits, you go get braces, or your teeth is chipped up and you go get porcelain veneers. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the totally 100% damn near everything on your body is fake. That's cheating. That's cheating to the people who get up, go to the damn gym every day, work their ass off, diet, exercise, healthy living, eating right, sleeping, drinking enough water, doing everything. Not the people who just fucking cheat. They get this body and everybody admires it. It's almost like some of the music nowadays is just fucking cheating. Like, you're not writing shit. You're not producing shit. Somebody's writing it. Somebody's producing it. All you're doing is repeat. You just a fucking repeat ventriloquist puppet. Somebody got their hand up your back, and all you're doing is saying what this person is telling you to say. You don't produce shit. You don't write shit. Then when you blow up, you get gassed up on yourself like you're that good. You're not that good. You're good at memorizing somebody else's stuff. That's not a supreme talent. That's cheating. You're cheating your way through life. And I'm afraid to say it, is that we're living in an era where we respect the person that cheats their way through life more than we respect the person that works hard. Give you a classic example. Kim Kardashian, and I don't mean to dwell on her because Amber Rose is the same way. They got more influence in this country than Michelle Obama. A woman who started from little to nothing and worked her way up into Yale and graduated and got a brain and got everything, has never had a fucking fake surgery to put a fake ass on her. These are the women that people look to beauty. And women don't understand that they are beautiful just the way they are. And that God made it so that we have tall people and we have shorter people and we have people that's right in the middle and we have people that's a little heavier and we have people that's a little lighter. When I was growing up, man, I wish now that I appreciated what I had when I was growing up. My mom used to call me 6 o'clock. And the reason why she called me 6 o'clock is not because I never, made curfew or came in the house at 6 o'clock when I was supposed to. She called me 6 o'clock because I was skinny and I was tall and lanky, and I looked like 6 o'clock on a clock, straight up and down. This is before digital clocks, when you actually had to know how to tell time. Well, she called me 6 o'clock because she said I was straight up and down like the hands of a clock at 6 o'clock. So she called me 6 o'clock. I was thin. My waist was a 28. Now, the clothes, I wanted to, they had this thing called weight gain powder, and I wanted to take some of that because I felt like I was too skinny. I wanted to get heavier, and now my waist is a 38. I wish to God I still had a 28-inch waist like I did when I was extremely thin. I wasn't anorexic thin, and I feel bad for anybody that's going through anorexia nervosa right now, but I was thin, and then I wasn't happy being thin. So I drank 40s. I ate anything I wanted. I ate a lot of bread, chips, all of that stuff. And now that I'm older and I got a little gut, now I want to be back to where I was before. But I want to do it naturally. I could, and I can afford it, I could go and get liposuction. If I wanted a bigger chest, I could go get fake pectoral muscles put into my chest. I could do all of that. But it's cheating. It's cheating. So I decided that I'm going to live how I live, and I'm going to deal with what God gave me, and I'm going to be beautiful in my way. And I'm not worrying about what everybody else is saying. I'm not worrying about that false sense of security of thinking that I'm beautiful or just wanting to be, quote unquote, whoever the hottest model is with the Tyson Beckfords and all of that. I don't really believe that people are really happy with themselves when they do this kind of stuff. I don't think that you look in the mirror and see yourself progress as you get older. To see the changes that you made and be happy with it. I think you're just chasing a dream all the time, and sooner or later, you're going to come to the realization that you're 65 years old and you're walking around here with a fake ass, and you still got to go back in and get this shit done over, and you still got to go in there and get your breast done over, or your nose done over, or this done over, or that done over, because Father Time catches up with each and every person. And if you die early and you still look the way you look now, you're still dead. You're still gone. And you're not here to enjoy your kids. You're not here to enjoy your grandkids. I mean, we have women out there that are dying on operating tables to get a fake ass. I am so glad that fake ass stuff is starting to wear out. Because your thighs never match your ass and you look totally fucking ridiculous. I remember when we went through the phase probably in the late 90s, early 2000s. Remember when everybody was running to the stores and getting colored contacts and sticking them colored contacts in their face, and they just became cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to buy, to where you could go to any bodega or corner store anywhere and they were selling the fake colored eyes. That kind of died down and went away. And the fake ass stuff is kind of dying down and going away too. Because it's just, especially big up to K. Michelle, who told her story when she took that shit out of her ass and she told how she was getting sick because of it. They kept having to run back and forth to the doctor. We're admiring people that it's just cheating. And it goes all the way up through politics. It seems like we're okay with people cheating their way through life. We okay with it as long as we win in the end. And I don't think that's right, and I don't think that's God's plan for everybody. Let's take a look at Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh, who just got nominated, right? He's the 144th Supreme Court Justice. First of all, I hope everybody realizes that this is a lifetime job for him. Lifetime at $250,000 plus a year. So whenever they're not in session, he can go and make up to $100,000 or $200,000 per speech. Okay, it's easy. He had brought through when a woman said that he forcibly tried to rape her. Forcible rape, not he touched me inappropriately when I was working for him. Forcible rape. Anita Hill. Do you remember back with Clarence Thomas was when they was trying to nominate Clarence Thomas? Anita Hill sat there, went through the whole Judiciary Committee to tell her story about Clarence Thomas, the inappropriate stuff he used to say to her, the inappropriate touching, all of this stuff. And he still was appointed Supreme Court Justice. Same shit with Kavanaugh. A woman comes out, talk about how he tried to forcibly rape her. They do a fake FBI investigation, which was a sham because it only lasted for a week, 1 week. Come back, there's no credible or corroborating evidence to prove that this woman is telling the truth. And they just dismissed her shit totally. After all of that hearing, after her sitting there all of that time, the same way with Anita Hill, after he just denied. After he said, oh, I never got so drunk that I passed out. Oh, well, you got so drunk that you got investigated for a ballroom brawl when you was in freaking college. You got that drunk. So if you said you was never drunk and out of character, what about this? That just shows that you have a tendency to tell a little white lie. And it just goes to show that you can be a cheater, you can be the Supreme Court Justice, and they just don't give a fuck, man. It's about power. We just don't give a fuck about our women in this country. We treat them fucked up. We treat them like a piece of meat. And when they come forward and say somebody did something to them, we fucking dismiss it. Just straight up dismiss it every time. Now, if you do a thorough-ass investigation and a woman lied for political reasons, then lock her ass up, right? And then just go right ahead and appoint whoever you want to appoint the correct way. But they just blew through this shit. They blew through it because the end result is, for the GOP, we want our Supreme Court Justice, who we say in there, and fuck what this bitch say. That's pretty much what they said. Fuck what this bitch says. And they're going to stand there and lie to you when these midterm elections are coming up because they'll do anything to cheat to win. Sandy Hook happened. All of them kids died. They all act like they care, but they ain't even pass any different gun regulations to make sure that it doesn't happen anymore. You know why? Because they're getting paid from the National Rifle Association, the NRA. So that just goes to show they don't give a fuck about you or your fucking kids. But then they'll stand up there talking about being tougher on crime. You're tougher on petty crime, but you're not tough enough on crime that you want to pass legislation so that these people who have mental illnesses can't get a gun in the first place. That's simple. That's one of the most simple things that you have to do, a mental background check on somebody before they can buy a gun. So if they've ever been checked into any kind of mental health facility or insane asylum or whatever, they are not allowed to go into the store and legally purchase a firearm. But they don't give a fuck because the National Rifle Association, Smith & Wesson, whoever makes the Glock company, whoever's making these guns, are putting money in their pocket to help them get reelected. So if I give you more money than anybody else and I help you get elected to an office, whose agenda are you going to push through first? Somebody who didn't give you money, just a regular voter out there, or the person that put money in your pocket and make sure that you had enough to run a proper campaign so that you could get elected? It's cheating. Don't you see the hypocrisy and what's going on in this country each and every day? And sometimes I don't even like to think about it because I'd rather live a happy life because the shit will absolutely drive you crazy. But with this Kavanaugh thing, I saw firsthand that American white men don't give a fuck about any color woman in this country, that you're a second-class citizen to them. And then he's going to sit up there and say that he's going to be a impartial Supreme Court justice. Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, and especially you ladies out here, please pay attention. Please pay attention to Roe versus Wade, your right to have an abortion, and the state doesn't have the power to tell you that you can't have an abortion in that state. That it's a law that they have to allow you to have an abortion. Please pay attention to see if this motherfucker, okay, the one who everyone thought was a golden boy, votes to deny your rights to have an abortion, for you to choose, not for the government to choose for what you can do with your body, but for you to choose what you can do with your body. Pay attention. These motherfuckers is slick. They gas you up, okay? They feed you, they give you some wine, and then they fuck you without your permission. And that's exactly what politicians in America do. They cheat the shit out of their constituency every time. They cheat the fuck out of us. All of us, but especially when it comes to women. They don't give a fuck about you. If you're not showing ass, if you're not showing tits, if you're not willing to give them some pussy, they don't give a fuck about you. Because they know that they already know that they feel like you stupid. They already know they feel like they can cheat you with their words and promise you all of this shit and then go back to Washington and fuck you in more ways than one. In more ways than one. They do this shit every single time. It's the era of cheating, winning above all and at any cost. I'm sorry, I am not that person. Maybe I should have been, and sometimes I think I should be a little harder and a little less liberal and more worrying about myself than anybody else. But I can't be that way because I'm from where those people are from. I lived in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, in a brownstone with the brownstone next to me burnt out. I remember my mother rushing my brother to the hospital because a rat had came from somewhere and got into our apartment and bit my brother. I remember this shit vividly. I remember my mother going to night school to get her high school diploma, and my father working, and my mother working menial jobs, and all of us living in a fucking one-bedroom apartment, and me sleeping on a pull-out couch with my two older brothers while my sister slept in the bed with my mother and father. I remember that. So I can't grow up and not care about somebody that grew up in the ghetto, because for a long time, I lived in the ghetto. until they bought that house in Queens and we moved out to Queens. And then we were, quote unquote, middle class. Not upper middle class. We were lower middle class, but just the same, we were middle class. We had grass in the yard and a car in front of the house, and we had a block association, and we painted trees. And the people that lived in Harlem and Brooklyn, that lived in the hood and in the projects and in the buildings, used to tease me and say that I lived like a white boy. I guess I did compared to them. You know, but we were taught as kids to work hard and be respectful and be right by other people and not to cheat, even if you were losing. I just was taught not to cheat. And it just seems like all we give a fuck about is they got money. That's all anybody ever say. Well, they got money, they got paid. But you can get paid and not be a fucking piece of shit and a cheater. And I'm not by any means saying anybody's a piece of shit. A lot of these people I'm talking about, I don't know them personally. Okay, but I know they're cheating their way into fame and fortune, and we're falling for it. We are so gullible. It drives me crazy how gullible of a society we are because of social media. We gullible. If somebody posts something that says somebody died, and they tell you, I just saw it on Facebook that such and such has died. They be like, nah, that person ain't dead. Yeah, it is. I saw it on Facebook. Then you have to Google it. Then when you Google it, you find out that person is not dead. You feel like the other person that told you that feels like a fucking idiot because we believe anything. We will do anything for likes. The LOL is no longer laughing out loud. LOL now stands for living off likes. Like it's your whole being. You willing to cheat yourself? You willing to look stupid just so you can get some likes? Like, to me, that is ridiculous. Ridiculous. That we don't even care. We're going to alter our bodies. We're going to alter, we'll do anything. Like, I absolutely know. I don't know who's doing it yet because I think most men would be embarrassed to say that they have a penis enlargement done. But I'm telling you, if they can perfect that, the way they perfect boobs and asses in women, dudes will be lined up to get a bigger dick. Lined up. And the next thing you know, we run around showing our penises off the same way women show off their fake asses, or the same way women show off their cheek implants, or their enlarged lips, or their enlarged breasts. Dudes will be walking around with a little pouch sewn into the front of their pants, underneath their pants, so they can slide their dick down in there and keep it hard so women can see that they got a big dick. Absolutely would do that in a heartbeat. I know it, but men are afraid that they're going to fuck their dick up. That's why they don't go in there and get their dick enlarged like that. But I guarantee you, within the next 4 or 5 years, when you start seeing, you start hearing about your friends, easily influenced. Hear about your friends getting their dick done, your ass will be right there. What? You went from like 7.5 inches to 12 inches? Oh, wait till you see me. Wait till this shit. And then they're going to be on Instagram showing their dick. I mean, they do it now anyway, with that eggplant, what was it, Eggplant Thursdays or something? I don't know if that shit's still going on, but it was last year sometime. But let dudes find out that they could get up $5,000 or $4,000, $4,500, and go to Dominican Republic and come back with a from 6.5 inches to 12-inch dick that stay rock hard when they want it. Shit, they run down there and get that. Run down there and get that shit immediately, purposely. We don't care about our kids anymore. We don't care. We do anything, man. You don't even think about your kids when you posting shit on social media. Social media the other day, I saw somebody wrote the real what was it? Love and Hip Hop Applebee's. And it was this couple, and they were arguing because the guy didn't want to pay the bill for his baby mother. And he was telling her, I told you not to come. I told you I just wanted to spend time with my daughter. I ain't paying this shit, meaning her portion of the bill. He threw the bill at her. I'm not paying this shit. She threw the bill at him. You pay this. What the fuck is wrong with you? You pay, say, I told you not to come. And then they started throwing shit at each other, water. He threw something on her. She threw something back on him. She stood up. You a whole ass nigga, you goofy motherfucker. How you gonna do that? You a whole ass nigga. And you not gonna pay this bill? You a whole ass nigga. And a kid is sitting right there. So then she grabs the kid, come on, whatever the kid's name was, and she storms off. And I don't know whether or not he paid the bill, but he was still sitting there. And the debate on the comments were whether or not he should pay the bill. That was the majority of the debates. On the comments were, well, she should have known. If he told her he just wanted to spend time with his daughter, why did she bring her ass over there? Well, as a kid father, he should pay the bill. It's the right thing to do, and not to get into this long, drawn-out argument with him. And I think I saw one or two people that said, the point is, why y'all acting like that and fighting like that in front of the kid? Little girl sitting right there. That's going to have an effect on her, and especially if they keep constantly bickering and arguing in front of the kid. Now, for me, I thought, and I wasn't privy to the conversation, that she shouldn't have been there. And he should have made it abundantly clear to her before she even came, listen, I'm not going to pay your bill, so watch what you eat. I'm not paying your bill. Not wait until the bill comes to tell her he's not paying the bill. But my point is, like the other 2 or 3 people that commented, why are you doing this in front of your kid? Why do you think it's okay to stand up and curse and holler and throw something at each other in front of your child? When did we start thinking that's all right? To me, that's bugged out. That just goes to show that a lot of times you're not thinking about who the person is that you're having a child with. You're just thinking about yourself. You're not worrying about that. You're not being smart enough to go, okay, I don't think it's cool for me to have a baby with this person. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, the guys don't carry the kid. So a lot of times a guy just will straight up tell you he don't want the baby. But you're going to have the baby anyway. So you're going to bring the baby into this world of fucking turmoil. And I know what you're going to say, ladies. Yeah, it takes 2. If he ain't want no baby, he should have had a condom on. But he don't carry a baby, and he can't make the rules on whether or not y'all have a child. He's not going to get custody of the baby. You are. You're the one that's going to get stuck with the baby, so you are the one that has to make a better choice of who you allow to sleep with you, first of all, without a condom, and whose baby you carry to term. But that's not going to matter anyway, because you ain't going to have that choice not to have an abortion no more anyway. Okay, because the Supreme Court is getting ready to overturn Roe versus Wade, like I told you earlier, especially with Kavanaugh sitting in that seat. Now the Supreme Court leans conservative and not liberal. So conservatives really like to tell you what you're supposed to be doing with your life. That they lean on this moral code of Christianity, but they'll be the first ones to start a war with somebody else. Or they'll be the first ones to want to deport Mexicans out of this country, but they're supposed to be loving Christian people. So I guess Christianity only counts for Americans. It's bugged out to me. But back to the conversation. My daughter was born when I was 20. My firstborn daughter, Tiffany, was born when I was 20. I didn't love her mother at all. I had a sexual relationship with her mother. Her mother disappeared when she found out that she was pregnant and came back around the end of her 8th month, going into her 9th month, telling me that I was going to be a dad. But the way I was raised was if you make a baby, take care of it. So I never, once I saw Tiffany and once I helped name her, I never had any qualms that I was Tiffany's father. It was, for me, it wasn't even a question of what I was going to do because my dad had passed and that manner of respect and that manner of being a man resonated with me and was always in my mind, all the lessons that he taught me. And one of those lessons were that if you make a baby, that you take care of your kid, because my brother Kelvin had already went through it with a girl that he didn't love. And he ended up getting full and sole custody of his son. But that's what my father told him, you know. I'll never forget it. The young lady was Haitian. I don't want to say her name out of respect to my nephew. But she came with her father to the house, and the father was sitting in the living room with her, my mom and my dad and my brother, and he was insisting that my brother must marry her. He must marry my daughter. I am a Haitian man, and in Haiti, if you get a woman pregnant, you have to marry her. And that's the way we do things. And just kept talking. And I'm peeking from upstairs on the staircase, and I'm ear hustling the whole conversation. And I'm listening, and then my father's listening, and my mom they talking back and forth. So finally, my father says to my brother Kelvin, said, "Kelvin, do you love her?" And my brother said, "Nope." And my dad said, "Kelvin, do you want to be with her?" My brother said, "Nope." And he told him, "Man, Mr. Such and Such, get your coat, get up, and get the fuck out of my house. My son ain't marrying shit." And I remember after he threw them both out, and she realized that there was no way on God's green earth that my brother was going to marry her, my father took us all for this walk, and he told us all, "Hey, listen, Kelvin's about to have a kid, and this is what you guys do, and if you make a baby, you take care of it." And he gave us the whole spiel. And I'll never forget that as long as I live, that's something that was taught to me. So when I was about to have my first daughter, I just did what I was supposed to do as a man, and I took care of her. And at that time, I wasn't on Yo MTV Raps. I was 20. I didn't have a lot of money. I was barely working. I was fresh out of high school. I realized that I had to get a job, and I had to do what I had to do to take care of my daughter. And that's what I did. I took care of her the best of my ability. And when I got on Yo MTV Raps and started making some money, I just kept taking care of her. That's what you do as a man. I've always taken care of my kids, even through my divorce. There's one thing my kids can't say is that I didn't take care of them. I take care of you up to a certain point. Now, when you get grown, you're on your own. You got to get to a point where I'm saying no to you because you keep asking daddy for money and you're in your 30s. It don't work like that no more. You got to become self-sufficient at some point. And I'm a hard pop, and I'm tough love you to death. But when you get to a certain age, that's the cutoff point with me. If you working, you got kids of your own, you are no longer my responsibility. You are your own responsibility at that point. But when they were younger, I absolutely, every single day, took care of my children the way I was supposed to. But I wasn't with their moms, right? But there's not a lot of dudes that's out there like that anymore. A lot of dudes they don't take care of their kids, and they don't give a fuck. And you don't want to be caught in that predicament, ladies, where you have a child by a man and he don't take care of his kids and he don't give a fuck. I don't care what he tell you. You are the determining factor. You make the decision on whether or not you can wholeheartedly, 100%, without your mom or your grandmother or anybody else out there helping you, because they don't deserve the burden of your child, take care of a child. And if the answer is no, then you shouldn't be having one at that time. I'm a firm believer that God will give you that same child, but at a later date. Okay? So I don't just believe that you should, because a kid is not a fucking puppy. You get rid of a puppy, you get tired of a puppy, you take a puppy to the ASPCA. A puppy can't talk. A puppy's not a human being with the same feelings that a human has. You may be wrecking somebody's life. You may be wrecking another human being's life that's going to have some kind of mental distress or mental problems as they grow older because you decided to be selfish and have a baby, or you two can't get along, and it's constant arguing, constant bickering in front of the child. And that's what I saw on the internet. When I saw it, I didn't see who was right or wrong for not paying the bill, fucking Applebee's. I saw the child and the way that episode is going to affect the child. Because if they think that that's okay, I refuse to believe that that's the first time that kind of bickering and arguing happened between them. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it at all. You know, you're affecting your kid. You fucking the kid's life up. Kids don't want to, kids not supposed to grow up without their parents. Especially if one parent is still alive. You're not supposed to have to grow up without that person in their life because somebody else is mad at somebody else, or somebody's bickering with somebody else, or you don't want to pay for me to eat, so you're not going to go see your daughter, or, oh, so I'm not your man no more, so you want to leave me alone because I wasn't doing nothing right in my life, and now you got this dude, and he got money, and he's a reflection of who I'm supposed to be, so I'm not paying you shit, and I'm not taking care of my kid, and I'm not coming around to see my kid, or, oh, you had another baby by another dude, well, let him take care of that, and I'm still not coming to see my kid. I don't understand how you cheat your child as a parent out of knowing you and loving you and being able to say that's my dad, or being able to say that's my mom. Or being able to say, oh, there go my dad came today to see me play. Or my dad came to see my school play. Or my dad is here for open school night. Or my dad came here to pick me up, to take me home. I don't see how you deny your kids that. I don't see it. My second oldest daughter, her mother got married again. Her mother had a whole another baby by another dude. It didn't stop me from doing what I was supposed to do for my daughter. She met me, I had a daughter. And then when we had a daughter together, her and I, her being in a different relationship with a different dude did not stop me from doing what I was supposed to do. I wasn't going to cheat my daughter out of an opportunity to live her best life and to know her father. Yeah, she understands that her mother and I has never been together as a couple since she was born. Yeah, they both understand that. Both my older daughters understand that. But they were not denied the opportunity to grow up and have their dad as a part of their life. Now, were there mistakes made on my part? Absolutely. Were there mistakes made on their mom's part? Absolutely. But they were not denied the knowledge of who their father is, where their father was. Can I be with my dad? Can I hang out with my dad? They weren't denied any of that. Dad paying child support, dad making sure they taken care of outside of child support. They weren't denied any of that. You're cheating your child when you do that. And a lot of people think it's cool. Like, you know how many single moms I meet out there who's got kids and the man has nothing to do with the kid, either because of him or because of her? That shit is ridiculous. I have a friend whose baby moms took his daughter, broke out, and then sued him for child support, and he still had to pay child support, didn't even know where his daughter was. Because the child support could go to the court, and the court would forward it to her, and the court doesn't have to tell you where she is with your child that you have to pay for. This is a guy that wanted to be a good father to his daughter. Wanted to be there every day for his daughter. Wasn't with the baby moms. She was somebody he was fucking around with. And he got caught out there. I did too. But you suck it up. You're a great guy. You're a man. And you know, all right, that's my daughter. I'm not going to have anything to do with her mom's romantically, but I'm going to take care of her. That's another thing my father taught me. Don't give somebody a rope because they're going to want to be a cowboy. Meaning, if you're not going to be with this woman, don't play with her emotions. Don't play with her feelings. Don't make her think that something's going on between y'all. So don't go running around putting your dick in her again. I didn't. No, my two older daughters, both of their mothers could tell you that once we were done, we were done. And we were done when they were pregnant. That was it. And I got daughters in their 30s. And their mothers can tell you he ain't never came around trying to sniff around for the ass. Nothing. I wasn't playing that because I had to cut it off clean. because I didn't want to cheat them by putting them through the emotional roller coaster, and I didn't want to cheat my daughters by us not getting along because I keep stringing them along, and I don't really want to fuck with them like that. So I didn't do it. There's certain rules, fellas who are listening, to being a man, to being real. And I hear that a lot. I'm real. I'm a real nigga. I'm real. Well, first of all, everything is real. And one of the realest things you could do is to take care of your kids. So if you out here calling yourself real, you're a real nigga, you real this, you real that, and your daughter lives in the same city that you live in, but you don't take care of her and ain't seen her at all and don't spend time with her, yeah, you real fucked up. That's what you are. You're not a real man doing shit like that, no matter what the problem is between her and you and her mom. Not her. It's not the kid's problem. It's your problem. As grown folks, as adults, y'all should be able to get along. Y'all should be able to be cordial. I went through some shit. My ex-wife, my first wife, took me through some shit when we was getting divorced. I mean shit. I mean, this woman kicked me when I was down, and I swallowed it and ate it for the sake of my kids. I did. For the sake of Zaire and Summer, I swallowed it and ate every fucking bit of her bullshit. Bullshit to where, honestly, if we didn't have children, I would never speak to her again in my life. That's how bad it was. That's how much nastiness that she put me through. And we and her still cool today. We cool because I'm not going to dwell on it, but she know what it was. She know she shitted. She know she shitted hard because I think she was in her feelings. You know, there's a lot of accusations flying back and forth, mostly on her part about what she thought I was doing when I wasn't doing anything but taking care of my family. And one day I'll tell the whole story from my perspective. And I'll get her perspective on it also. But she know she was fucking nasty to me, and I ate it. No public arguing, no public feuding, no public fighting, no fuck yous, no door slamming, none of that, because I didn't want my kids to see that. Because a child does not ask to be here. So you have no right to cheat them out of that. You have no right to do that. If somebody works as hard as you work, working even harder, you have no right to cheat to win. You don't. Even in baseball, right, with the whole steroid issue. That's a real issue because a person that gets stronger because they're on performance-enhancing drugs, that's why they call them PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. It enhances your performance. Your performance wouldn't be that good without the drugs. Right? So you're an average hitter. You get on PEDs. Here's a guy that works his ass off, studies the game, works on his reflexes, works on everything, right? And he's still only getting to a certain point to where he's hit that wall and he can't get over it. Here you come with performance-enhancing drugs. You become bigger, faster, swing the bat harder, or dunk the ball better, or has more stamina, and you get a bigger contract than this guy gets who worked his ass off. That's not fair. And then they find that you on PEDs, and all you get is a suspension? No, your ass should get drummed out the fucking league because it's already written in the rules that you can't do that. So now, if you're a baseball player, you're getting $300 million over 10 years, guaranteed. And here's a guy that might be getting $125, $130 million over 10 years. But you're on PEDs and he's not. So what does that say to him? Maybe I should be on PEDs. And when Kim Kardashian gets fake tits, fake butt, fake nose, fake hair, everything, and she gets all these followers and she should make all of this money, how do we tell our little girls, be yourself? When being fake has gotten her more revenue than both of your parents make. How do we look at Michelle Obama and say, well, be her? Because she's smart, she's brilliant, she's beautiful, and she makes a great living. No, but you know what your kid gonna say? Well, shit, Kim Kardashian just fucked Ray J on film and sucked his dick, and that shit went out, and she lives in a $60 million house. Daddy, have you ever made $60 million in 1 year? Are you on the Forbes list? No. How do you keep these young ladies and young men in control? How do you keep them? How do you tell them to work hard to achieve what they want when this is the kind of shit that you're up against? And she's not the only one. You know, what talent do fucking Amber Rose have that somebody had turned around one time and gave her a TV show? What talent did she have? How do we influence our kids to do the right thing when people who are cheating are winning? How do we influence our kids to play the game and play the game fairly and to work hard when you could take the shortcut and win? How do you do that? Could I go right now to a plastic surgeon and get myself 100% all the way correct and then take my shirt off on Instagram and get millions of followers and then make money because of it? Yeah, probably. But what example would that be to my son and my daughter? Oh, yeah, you could be the decathlon winner, but just come out and say that you always wanted to be a woman and have this surgery, and then you be on the front of Vanity Fair magazine when somebody who worked their ass off could never get on the front of Vanity Fair fucking magazine. And you make all this money, and then they'll give you a TV show, and they'll pay you all these millions of dollars for being Caitlyn. And then you could turn around at any time and go, you know what? I think I want to be Bruce again. It's cheating. It's cheating. Please, folks, tell me, am I bugging because I don't think that's the way to go? That I think you should be correct? Fuck it. Hurt your constituency. You know what? Let's vote for, let's not vote, okay, to make this thing, make these big corporations clean up this oil, even though it's killing millions of animals and it's getting into people's drinking water. We worrying about this shit. Flint still ain't got clean water yet. Who gives a fuck? As long as I get reelected. Let's say I'm tougher on crime. When you can look at the crime rates and see the crime rates is the lowest that they've ever been in this country for harsh crimes. So let me drum up some shit like people who are, well, I can't lean on the blacks anymore because that's been proven that black people ain't committing more of the crime. So I'll lean on the illegal immigrants now. They the ones that's coming over here committing all of these horrendous crimes, okay, just so I could get reelected and I can put more money in my pocket and I can have more power. I really don't give a fuck about you, but I'm just doing this so I could get paid. So now everybody's looking at him like, yeah, he paid, but they don't give a fuck that how many people he hurt and trampled and cheated to get there. Is this what we are? Is this what we are? Because this is what we are, then I don't want to be here. And I don't mean that in the sense that I want to die. I just don't want to live in a society that this is who we are. There was always a small percentage, but now it looks like this is what everybody is looking at. Don't win the popular vote, but I could cheat my way with the Russians into winning the Electoral College and become the president of the United States with no prior experience. The highest office in the country, in this country, with no prior experience. A reality TV show host, a guy who did not even pay the people that worked for him, that was doing work for him and doing contracts for him. A guy who's been bankrupt many times is the president of the United States. A guy who 12 women accused him of sexual misconduct. It was like, fuck that. He's white. He's a male. He could do what the fuck he want to do. But Bill Cosby's locked up and he's not. He's the president of the United States. Cheated his way. Cheated his way into a presidency. Did not win the popular vote. The Russians helped rig the goddamn election so that he can get in, and he does business with the Russians. Business. And it's fine. That's how we living right now, y'all. That shit is okay. But guess what? It's not okay with me. I don't want to live my life like that. Yeah, I made mistakes. I've done some dumb shit. Haven't we all? Absolutely. But listen, I'd rather win legitimately and lose gracefully. And I'm not losing. I've done very well in my life. I've never been on the Forbes list. I'll never will. But that does not bother me at all. What bothers me is my moral. I mean, what keeps me afloat is my morals and my standards and me trying to teach my kids the correct way of going about being great. Not cutting corners, not cheating. I'm a Hall of Famer in hip hop. And I didn't cheat my way into the Hall of Fame. I worked my ass off. And Dre worked his ass off. And we had talent. And we utilized that talent. And we developed that talent. And we worked on the raw talent that we had. And I learned to do radio. And I learned how to read prompters so I could do MTV. And I learned what to say and what not to say. And I learned how to carry myself as a grown man. I didn't fucking cheat my way in. And in America right now, it seems cheating is winning. Who do you want to be when it's all said and done? A cheater or a winner without cheating? That's for you to decide. My name is Ed Lover. This is Come On Son, the podcast. Thanks for listening. Keep God first. Everything else will fall into place. I'll talk at you, with you, to you, and about that ass next week. This is always dedicated to the late, great Combat Jack. I'll holler at y'all later, man. Come on, son. Now get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. I'm out. This Ed Lover podcast is being done in conjunction with Cigars International. Make sure you check out cigarsinternational.com for all your cigar needs.
This episode of Come On Son, the podcast, is produced and engineered by co-executive producers Kimana Paulus and Krista Hayes. Recorded at Mean Street Studios in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. This is an official Loudspeakers Network podcast. Network podcast.